Alright guys, I'm going to do a little video here. It's my first attempt at actually recording my workflow. We're going to go into Lightroom. So I've got a project here that I shot up at Knapp Castle in Santa Barbara during a big fire that we had last year. I knew the sky would be really interesting, and I thought that the warm colors would really play off of all the remaining rocks that are left from this house that burned down, ironically, maybe 40 years ago. So in this main view here, we see that I have, I use two cameras. So I have the Panasonic folder and a Nikon folder because I shot with my Lumix LX100 and my Nikon. So I can go through my individual images like this, which is a fairly slow process, and you get a lot of very similar images. Or I can click on this and I can get an overview, and I can kind of figure out what I want to play with here. This I kind of like this Dutch angle shot. It looks pretty interesting. So I can double click on that, and first of all I'm going to pick it by hitting P, which will tag it. You'll see the flag right here as well. And then I could continue to search through my images. This one I just posted recently on. I'm going to go look to the Nikon stuff. Keep in mind I shoot everything fairly flat, and then I do all the color in post. So while these images may look a little bit boring now, you can do a lot with them if you have the basic image. An image like this looks fairly boring right now, but if I go into the develop module, do some really interesting stuff here. We'll bring the highlights down to bring those clouds in, bring the shadows up to fill that in, and then we'll bring the vibrance up, and maybe a little bit of saturation, and then you've got a really different look from what you had a second ago. Look at that. Yeah, I went too far with it, but let's see. You like the vibrance though. So that's just I'll pick that now that I've messed with it. And then we can also go and just do the overall white balance as well. Start at 4200. I think I might have been about where I want to be. There's 4400. You can go in here too and adjust individual colors with saturation and luminance. So for instance, if I wanted to bring up just the saturation of the sky, the blue elements of it, do that there. The orange is kind of our ground area. It's a little bit too yellow, so I might go to hue and just change the yellow. Say that's pretty nice. Let's see if we want to change the sky color at all. No. So there we have a pretty nice looking image. When you do this kind of work, sometimes you have to really look at the gradations between the dark spots and the really light spots, because sometimes you get some really weird color fringing happening. But here it looks pretty good. I think going back to the exposure, may want to add a little bit more light in the shadows. Alright, so in just a few minutes we've created a fairly nice image. We went from this to this. What's cool is you can also take the changes you did to one image and then with this function apply the same changes. Won't always be good, but if you have an image that's very similar, it gets you in the ballpark for sure. Got something weird going on here. Would have to adjust that image more. Look at that. Who knew those details were in there? Beautiful. Let's go through some more of these. Nice finger in the shot there. Brilliant. Good photography work. Let's go back. Take this. I'll copy the settings on that. Copy. Go back to this. Paste settings. Yeah, pretty nice. So there you go. Of course, you have to start with a good image, but you can do a lot with it in post, as you can see here, very quickly. I should note too that the final image with all the corrections that we've done here that you're looking at is actually much more true and accurate to what I was really seeing on the day. There was a big fire going on and the sky was filled with smoke, which gave it that really surreal reddish look. In fact, the colors were so intense, that's the reason I went up there that day, and it really hurt my eyes, actually. I could only handle it for about 20 minutes before I had to leave. But the reason we shoot it with that gray profile in the camera is because it retains all the detail in the shadows and in all the clouds in the sky and everything, so that when I come into Lightroom like I am now, I can actually bring back, it retains all that detail and I can bring that back here. So we're not really just blowing out the colors, we're actually making it more accurate to what the human eye saw when we were there. So anyway, thanks for watching my attempt at one of these little educational videos.